I just wanted peace. But the moment I thought I was free, trouble showed up at my door. I had bought my dream ranch, far enough from the city and outside the HOA limits. No rules, no restrictions, just open skies, rolling hills, and quiet mornings where the wind through the grass was my only alarm clock. The old barn needed a little work, but I didn't mind. It felt like a fresh start, a life I'd been chasing for years. For a while, it was perfect. I spent my mornings planting new grass, fixing fences, and soaking in the kind of quiet that city people pay for in vacations. The neighbors from the nearby HOA would sometimes drive past, giving those judgmental looks that said, "Who do you think you are?" I ignored them. I wasn't one of them, and that was exactly how I liked it. Then, out of nowhere, a pristine white envelope appeared in my mailbox. Embossed with the HOA logo, looking more like an invitation from royalty than a letter about a barn, it made my stomach tighten. I opened it, and sure enough, they had something to say. The HOA president, a woman named Karen, claimed my barn color violated community standards. I couldn't stop laughing. Me? Not part of their community. And suddenly, my barn was a crime scene. I tossed the letter aside, thinking that was the end of it. But it wasn't. The very next morning, Karen showed up herself. Driving a spotless SUV that hadn't touched a speck of dirt in years, she stepped out like a sheriff inspecting a crime scene. Her eyes scanned my land, then fixed on me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Sir," she said in that cold, practiced tone, "this property must comply with HOA regulations." I calmly explained that my land wasn't under her authority. Her smile vanished. She muttered under her breath, "You'll regret that," and drove off. But I knew one thing for sure. My peaceful ranch had just turned into a battlefield, and Karen had already drawn her first line in the sand. Karen showed up out of nowhere, her smile sharp but cold, like she was sizing you up. "Your fence, your yard, none of this follows our rules," she said, voice sweet but threatening underneath. You stayed calm. "Actually, this land isn't under your HOA. I'm fine." Her eyes narrowed. She walked the property, measuring fences, taking pictures, even putting up little HOA private community signs like a warning. You watched quietly, curiosity growing. There had to be a loophole, a way to protect yourself, right? Later, alone in the barn, you pulled out the property deed. Your heart skipped. There it was, a tiny detail that could give you leverage against Karen and her rules. Something she never expected. Could this small piece of paper change everything? Then I found something they didn't even know. My hands shook as I called a lawyer. After looking at the papers, they said something shocking. The HOA road actually runs through my property. All at once, I realized I had power, real control over who could come and go. A plan formed in my mind, a gate. A gate that would make them think twice. I couldn't stop imagining Karen's face when she saw it. Her smug smile, replaced by shock. Excitement ran through me. I finally had the upper hand. The next morning, the gate went up. And that's when the chaos began. They thought I would back down. They were so wrong. That morning, Karen and a bunch of HOA members showed up, all shouting that I had to take the gate down. I stayed calm and held up my property deed. Karen froze. She had no words. The board argued and pointed fingers, but none of them had any real proof. I quietly recorded everything, knowing it could help me later. Karen threatened court, fines, and all sorts of nonsense, but I didn't flinch. I knew I had the truth on my side. By evening, an official notice from the HOA arrived. My heart raced. This was only getting started. Predictable. They didn't even check their own papers. I installed an automatic boom gate with security cameras, and the next morning, the neighbors were blocked in. Frustration and confusion spread, but the best part? Karen's confident smile was gone. She looked scared for the first time. They tried everything, threats, fake fines, angry letters, but it didn't work. I stayed calm, recording it all, knowing the law was on my side. Then, things got serious. County officials showed up. The HOA hoped they could help, but would they? Suddenly, the tables turned, publicly. After Karen threatened the press, a reporter showed up at my gate. By the next morning, the story was everywhere. The HOA had overstepped, blocking residents on a road that wasn't even theirs. Karen's name was all over the news, and the board members started resigning one by one. Neighbors came, trying to negotiate with me, but I refused. The road stayed private, protected, and fully under my control. The HOA community faced the consequences of their actions. Chaos spread, frustration grew, and the story was far from over. The community finally saw the truth. Residents were hit hard, deliveries blocked, services delayed, property values falling. Karen's mismanagement, combined with mounting legal fees, drained the HOA's budget fast. Some neighbors even came to apologize, but I didn't take a toll. This was never about money, it was about teaching them a lesson about boundaries. County officials stepped in and confirmed the HOA's mismanagement. Partial dissolution of the board began, shaking the community to its core. Karen struggled to hold on to control as the board's credibility crumbled, and it was clear things were about to get even worse for her. She lost everything, not just her position. Quietly, moving trucks arrived, and Karen packed up and left. Relief swept through the community, though some divisions lingered. The HOA was officially disbanded after years of abuse and mismanagement. Karen became a cautionary tale for other homeowners, proof that arrogance and bullying have consequences. I stood by my property, reflecting on what it had come to represent: respect, boundaries, and standing your ground. Now, it was time for the final step, reopening the road, but only for emergencies. Sometimes the best victory is just standing your ground. The road was reopened, but only for emergencies. Peace returned to the ranch. No meetings, no threats, no chaos. Security cameras quietly kept watch, ensuring boundaries were respected. I reflected on the lesson I'd learned. Staying firm, calm, and legal could bring justice without anger or revenge. Victory was quiet, steady, and permanent. Mornings were calm, skies wide and open, and the ranch finally felt like the safe, peaceful place I had always dreamed of.